Well, good afternoon and welcome back to Restaurant Review. We're thrilled to have our chef today, so we got a surprise for you in case you're not followed who we said was going to be on this week. It's October, beginning of October 2012. Finally, we're getting a little change in the air. I hope it stays because, we're tired of hot summer. So hopefully we'll just ooze right into fall. As you know, we bring you a musician each week and a wonderful chef and his restaurant, and we're pleased to do that. Since Katrina, we've had problems getting live musicians in, but as what we did last week, we started going back to the archives way back and picking individuals week by week and giving you a deja vu look. Some of these individuals aren't here anymore with us. Some of them aren't even in music anymore. I remember this young gentleman, and I know he got out of music several years after. He is still local from what I understand, so maybe he'll see this show and recontact us and tell us what he's doing. But we'd like you to hear, I know he writes songs as well as plays them, and his name is BURKE INGRAFFIA. Let's take a look and listen, and we'll see you on the other side.
Guy gets blue on a sunny day, and even I sometimes feel that way. I don't put my trust in the visible light traveling at night. The thieves and the scoundrels come out of the wood. Just don't let them guess that you're good. Don't let them guess that you're good. I'll take the moon and her reflecting ways over the sun that wrinkles my face. I won't be slowed down by the speed of light traveling at night. The lunatics and lovers, they act like they should. Oh, if we could be, we certainly would. Oh, we certainly would. The sky gets blue on a sunny day, and even I sometimes feel that way. I won't put my trust in the visible light traveling at night. The thieves and the scoundrels come out of the wood. Just don't let them guess that you're good. Don't let them guess that you're good. The sky gets blue on a sunny day, and even I sometimes feel that way. I don't put my trust in the visible light traveling at night. Traveling at night. Traveling at night.
Okay, that balladeer was BURKE INGRAFFIA, and he was with us I don't know exactly, but I know it was before Katrina, like maybe 2003, 2004. So we're pleased to bring him to you. He's a little mellow there, and he's got a couple more songs for us during the rest of the show. So we hope you're glad to see someone new and someone old again. At the same time, we always are interested in you sending us any referrals you have of musicians so we can stay current and get them live in the studio, because that would be great. But meanwhile, we always have for you a wonderful chef live in the studio. We don't do tapes on that show unless I'm out or something has happened. And today we, to use an old cliche, like we have a chef today that needs no introduction, but of course we're still going to give him to you. He's been a fixture in our city for a long time. We'll get those details from him. He had one of the most prominent restaurants in the city for many years before Katrina. And now he's taken command of another restaurant fairly recently. Beautiful place that's been around for a little while. And so we're anxious to bring you some pictures and talk to Chef Rene BAJEAUX of Rene Bistro. Welcome to the show, Rene.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be here.
Oh, you're a delight. We didn't think we'd get a personality of your stature in here for a while, so we're real pleased that you were accommodating us. Tell us, for those, and there could be a minuscule amount of folk out there who are not familiar with you in our city. Let's talk about, when did you first come to our city? Because I don't even think I know that.
Oh, I moved here in 1997 from Chicago.
All right.
In and out of Chicago, but being here since 1997, and again, Katrina and all that after that. So it's back and forth, but I really never left the city. My family was always here. Always. So everybody was always here, and I was the one traveling in the Caribbean and London and all of that. But
that must be nice.
Yeah, sometimes it was nice, but when you're away from the family, it's not that nice.
Yes.
But I worked with some great people in the Caribbean, and it was very exciting, really exciting to do that.
Okay. So now you've resituated yourself in your own place, and that place is in the wonderful, beautiful Renaissance Arts Hotel. I believe it's listed as 700 TCHOUPITOULAS Street. It runs the whole block. A great-looking place, the whole bottom floor. And what's so magnificent about his restaurant, you'll see, is that there are windows on both corners. So, us in New Orleans, either we like to look out or we like to look within at ourselves with mirrors. So he's got that covered for you. There's one of his windows, his sign. And let's talk about the restaurant. How long have you been open now with Rene Bistro?
We opened because I was like Code Brasserie, which I was involved with.
Right, for many years, huh?
11 years ago, but I was only involved for a short time. He was an opening chef there, but I was part of helping with the design and putting the staff together. And we had a great time doing that. It was a great chef, a bingo star there. And then,
I didn't want to interrupt, but I was talking to you before, and I don't know if you recall, but when you all first opened, we had bingo on representing Code Brasserie.
Yes, probably, yeah.
And it was very ambitious, I have to admit. That was a magnificent restaurant, but very, very ambitious. But we're so glad you kept hold of it and now have put your signature in toto on it. And I know you've expanded from what you did previously at your own restaurant prior to Katrina. Is that right?
Yeah, the menu is much bigger. And the main thing is that the ingredients are different, with more homemade items, more like farm to table. It's not like a cliche now, but more like we buy the whole pig, we get goat, we get fresh produce, more and more than before. And I go back to my roots completely, make everything in-house.
Right.
From cheeses to all that, and more to come.
And as we were discussing before the show, unfortunately, everyone talks a good talk today, but many times doesn't do that walk. And that not only is traditional with French chefs, but also with all older chefs, where that was the important thing, is that you used everything and you took it from the farmer, the butcher, etc. You did all the work because you found the creativity in what you could do with the various pieces. Today, everything comes packaged, and so even though they say it's local, many times it's just something they really don't have to do much to. And that's my disappointment, is that in one respect we're saying we're going back to the farm and to the restaurants and getting maybe vegetables, but a lot of the other things, especially when it gets to the meat, where we are not going to the original, and we're taking the easy way out, letting it pass through several chains, and we're just taking some sealed package and working from there. And I think we owe you a debt of thanks, not only to our people, because that's what we love so much about your food, but also to the young chefs that are working with you, because they really are learning. Because in most of the other restaurants, there's no learning process. It's so easy. It's so just a matter of which oven or which fry pan to use. It's not really learning and creating dishes. It's just repetitious. Everything is done over and over again. So we can almost use the robots, and we certainly don't want that. Now, obviously, because your restaurant is in the hotel, you're going to be providing 3 meals a day. Is that right?
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We're very busy breakfast this morning and very busy lunch, but we like it.
Do you have certain times, or is it just flowing in? Like, how early would you start a breakfast?
Breakfast at 6:30 to 10:30.
Wow.
So it's don't get me wrong. I'm not every day morning there cooking breakfast. I'm not. Have some great employee, great sous chef who take care of that.
Of course, no one could physically do the demands that would be required of, especially of a hotel. So we certainly understand.
You don't want me to do it. All those fried eggs and the temperature easy over medium. I still get confused every sometimes. So,
but we still feel comfortable with you at holding those reins back, even if it's just okay. That's okay.
Oh no, I keep an eye.
I know you do. I know you got a hawk eye. In fact, I'll tell someone. The first night we went there, one of our dining guests, a young lady, was with us, and she went to park in a no parking zone right outside of the restaurant because it was very convenient. And there's no need for that because we'll talk about some of the perks is that there's valet parking, which is so great right in front of the restaurant. But she saw this convenient space, which was obviously no, and Rene almost ran outside himself to prevent her. As soon as she came in, we told her, and Rene went in quite detail that, do not park there, you will be towed. And so he was very, to that extreme a level of detail. It's something not even related to his employees or the conduct of his business, but certainly conscientious enough of a potential diner to give him that. So that's why I'm saying his eyes are all over. He's the big brother of the restaurant. But now let's talk about lunch. So what time do we open? Do we start serving lunch?
And again, one very important thing: the valet parking is free.
It is free.
Yeah. So,
yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't say free.
So,
and that's why I say I don't know why I brought someone Sunday. And we had terrible rain. And for those who remember last Sunday, we came to your brunch. And this gentleman doesn't like the valet park, or whatever. And he pulled in the very same spot, and it's torrential rain. I said, look, please pull around. I called him, please pull around the front. And sure enough, he was amazed. They came with the umbrella. He couldn't go directly in front because obviously there was a line of cars, people wanting to come in the restaurant or the hotel without getting wet. But sure enough, they came with umbrella, escorted him in, and so everything was hunky-dory. But yes, so it's free valet parking. And a lot of folks don't believe that. But it is true that, and a lot of the restaurants do have valet parking, but do have to make a charge. It really depends on the ability of the owner, or especially affiliated with a wonderful hotel here that gives a lot more amenities than a typical mom and pop or independent shop.
Yeah, for an individual restaurant to run a valet parking by itself is very expensive.
Very
liability and all of that.
Yes, because it's not just paying the drivers; it's paying for their insurance, which really runs up because of the multiple types of cars they're running. Okay, lunch. We were saying lunch starts about 11:30 or what?
11:30 to 2:30.
2:30.
Something for brunch. Yes.
And evening dinner about
5:30 to 9 to 10, depending
on how the crowd is.
That's it.
That's the true measure of any good restaurant is depending on the crowd, not a fixed hour. Okay. You seat about how many? Because that place is really huge.
It seems to be bigger. What do you think?
Really?
It's about 105 comfortable, but we can do 125 for like different functions.
I would have thought double that. But at the same time, it's not cavernous. It's just because it's so open. It still has an intimacy about it, which I like. And, of course, then having the windows looking out, which is just so convenient, especially for two tops and stuff like that, or even a single diner, because they're not associating with people in the restaurant. They certainly can watch all the traffic, which is, of course, quite entertaining in that area. But anyway, so we've covered that. They're open 7 days a week, right?
Yes, and we have a great oyster bar. And, and also we have a chef table right connected to the kitchen. The kitchen is all open, so you can see everything's going on.
I know when you first started, and I didn't know whether you were still doing that. When Bingo opened it up, he had it's a magnificent large marble bar, sitting bar,
Still the same.
And the ice and all was in the center, and that's why you'll see one of our first pictures were the oysters. In those days, you did sushi, did a couple other things, a little bit too much and too ambitious. But the thing is, I didn't know whether you were still allowing people to sit up there.
We do actually. A lot of people love that, especially as people, couple or
single diner is perfect.
You know, you don't want to sit down by yourself. Then you have at least you have an interaction. And we do the seafood tray. We have lobster, cold lobster, shrimp cocktail, and three ceviches.
Right.
We don't do We don't do sushi. Anything like that.
Right. No. I didn't mean to slightly, but I'm just saying. I thought you had cut back on that. I know. No. I don't think there was that. Like there's some kind of a beautiful padded divide. I'm not sure if they had that in the beginning.
It was
always there. Okay,
it was always there.
That's how bad my vision is. But anyway, the important thing is I'm glad that it is open because many times I will come by myself, and I would much rather sit just like at a sushi bar, sit at a bar and eat and be able to converse with because it is open kitchen, so the chefs are there, and unless they're terribly busy, I know they'll answer any question for you, whether or not the staff will be available for your question.
And then you can see the kitchen, and you can see that we're not opening back. We are cooking and cutting.
That's what's good. Total transparency, as they say today.
They can see everything in the kitchen.
Total transparency. Okay. Anything else you want to say about it before we move it? Let's take a look at some of the pictures.
It's just a great, vibrant. The bar also is vibrant. We have great ladies at the bar, and it's great.
We got so many compliments because I have, for some reason, I associate with even though I don't drink anymore, we associate with a lot of martini drinkers. And today's martini is not like the old day where you had a dirty or clear. You know, today it's infused with every color or thing. It's not for me either, but I'm saying, and these ladies especially love to challenge a good bartender, and I think you had a lady bartender the night. We brought the lady who loves all these fusion martinis, and she was just tickled pink. The lady gave her something that she had asked for something they didn't have. She gave her a substitute that she liked even better. So that's a true compliment on a bar chef too. So make sure
there's so many cocktails now and so many ingredients. I mean, it's just crazy.
A mixologist is great.
This is science, a new science that I didn't know anything about. I couldn't even pretend to do it. I don't know how they do it, but
no, you're 100%.
And we have a great wine program also. Wine by the glass, starting at $7.50 to $12 a glass. We have usually 8 to 10 glasses of wine. Wine by the glass.
Great. Oh, well, we can talk about that during the beverage section. But the important thing is, let's go ahead and start. We started jumping ahead. As we said, Sunday, I could not resist. As part of the oyster bar, we saw the sign on the table. So we actually ordered the oysters. And what's good about it, he's giving, of course, a lot of patronage to the Louisiana oysters, but he does offer oysters from other locations.
We also do East Coast, West Coast.
East and West Coast, which if you have never tried it, it's a wonderful try. I think you're going to be sold on Louisiana and still being the best. But it's interesting, the differences. One's more briny and da-da-da-da. Interesting to try the different oysters that are available. So I think we've got a great picture of a beautiful selection of Louisiana oysters that we had Sunday morning prior to our brunch. Let's see if we can take a look at that. There we go. I think we've got about a dozen and a half there. Let's talk about the different sauces. They were all first of all, they were all plump, great salt level to them, and perfectly iced. And that is one of the keys to oysters today. They really skimp on icing. Everything's brought out of the refrigerator, and they might not put any ice underneath them at all. Within a few minutes, their flavors are lost so quickly.
Oh, you need to be on ice. We have a big ice machine. We can put some ice. And to talk about oysters, the last couple of weeks, the oysters have been incredible. I mean, they're salty.
That's what I say. They were absolutely. That's why we ordered a dozen and a half, just two of us, and I could have ate more, but I wanted to go ahead and we needed to get some more pictures of some of the other food. And then you have your typical seafood sauce, but what was the other two sauces?
It's called, we have the mignonette.
Mignonette, which is the red but kind of more transparent, isn't that?
Yeah, that's vinegar, red wine vinegar with red onion.
Red onions.
And then pureed with the black peppercorn, sample traditional French vinaigrette. And then sometimes we have different aioli also. We play with different sauce, and we have different things we do with horseradish, fresh horseradish grated.
Right.
I like, and obviously lemon. I don't see any lemon in that picture.
No, I didn't see it. Well, maybe we already squeezed it. The first thing I do is squeeze.
See, I like my oyster plain.
Pure. I do too. But the marinade I had somewhere else. I didn't put it over my oyster, but I have to admit I drank it all.
Oh, right.
It was delicious. So, but the oysters, that's why I say we ate through the oysters rapid fire because it was so plump, so salty, so tasty that it was really delicious. And like I say, we probably squeezed the lemons. That's the only thing I would put on them is I would squeeze the lemon. I probably did that before we actually took a bite. Okay, let's move on. I think we got. We could look at the other pig. Let's see what we have next. Oop, we're changing. I thought we'd be ready. Now let's see if we can.
Back.
The next appetizer. We've got a great selection of appetizers for you: soups, salads, entrees. Let's see if we can get the other pictures back up. Okay. Now this you mentioned to us was
this was a special. It was a sweetbread special
right.
with the wild mushroom, shaved Parmesan cheese, and a little bit of red wine shallot sauce and fresh thyme. It's a sample thing, but fresh sweetbread again from Wisconsin. Beautiful thing. We sell a lot of sweetbread, a lot of organic. Yes. Go back to basic with things like that, using liver sweetbread. Yeah, I love
and
it.
I'm glad to see that again as part of the return to the farmers market and stuff like that kind of concept. We're also returning to some of the foods that we grew up with that we haven't seen in years. And sweetbreads, especially in the South and the Southern area, is just a staple. So it's really, really tasty.
Like in every menu used to be beef tongue and things like that. Now I'm putting actually a new menu in a few weeks. I'm putting beef tongue and calf liver because people are asking for that. And that's, I think since after Katrina, we're going back to that those kind of items.
Excellent. Liver is I was going to ask you, if you're doing tongue, please do some liver because that is my favorite.
Liver, we're putting it.
Okay, so there's some sweetbreads appetizers, and let's move on to another one, please. See if we can get another picture up there because I don't know what's it. All right, we have our new. All right, now here's if you're in a French restaurant and they don't have at least one pâté, something's wrong. Okay, and here we have a magnificent selection, which, from what Rene told me, beyond this time, and it was our first trip, he's expanded even more. Let's talk a little bit about what's on this board, pâté board, and some of the others that you might include.
This one is a pork rillette. I can see that, and the country pâté with actually is beef tongue. Ham, homemade ham, pork, and fresh herbs, garlic and onion, and white wine. Rillette is like basically pulled pork, simmer very slowly with white wine and brandy and onion, and a dash of cream. Homemade pickled vegetable and a duck pâté in the back. Yeah, way in the back is the duck. And a duck pâté, and then sometimes the one we have right now is 5 items. It changes all the time. And there's all the fresh ingredients: fresh duck, fresh pork, fresh goat. I mean, we do homemade mustard, homemade pickled vegetable, and that on that board everything is homemade.
That really, people don't say, well, what do you put those other things for? But it really complements the taste. Yes, the pickles to me, I mean, in the old days you maybe got cornichon, a couple of corn, and that was it. Yeah. But today, that's what I see is the really, advance of pâtés by including the different pickled vegetables that really add to the taste. Pickled okra, pickled beets, and then that's what we go with, and different mustard homemade. That's what gives it flavor. The same thing with the pâté. I do a lot of different flavors. Sometimes not so traditional, like maybe curry and ginger, anything like that, to give different element. Okay. All right, now we're going to move into the salads. Whoop, bring the picture up, please. Now this is one of my favorites. That's those beautiful stars around the edge are endive. Or endive, as some folks say. Absolutely, if you've never tried endive, it's just got the most delicate taste and flavor. But this has also got my favorite of beets in it. I'm so glad beets are, again, it's something that had been lost in salads and cooking. And within a few years ago, people have started returning to the different beets and using them in the cooking as well as in the salads. This salad is actually superb and one of my favorites. Can we talk a little about I love beets. It's roasted beets. Beets are better when they're roasted. They release the sugar. They have nice nutty flavor. Right. And endive chopped in there with a bit of spinach and lemon basil vinaigrette. But we use different kind of beets. We use golden beets, red beets, purple beets, and sometimes people see yellow beets and say this on the bag. They say this is not beets. Beets come in more than one flavor. And I agree with you. I've had that happen where people have been with me and they say, well, look, they put peppers or something, tomatoes in you. I said, no. Those beets come in so many colors, and that's what's so. In the old days, we only knew the purple here locally. Yeah. So it's good to see the variety because the color, flavor might not be tremendously different, but the importance is the color of it. It just adds to the whole visual excitement of the dish. So again, if you want to try a very unusual but delicious salad, that's the arugula with the roasted beets. All right, now I think we have another salad. If we could bring that up, please. And Yeah, no, well, this was really an appetizer that we had on Sunday, and really absolutely delicious. It's a salmon with fingerling potatoes. That's what those little things surrounding the salmon. Tell us about this beautiful dish.
Yeah, that's homemade smoked salmon, Scottish salmon, cured.
And boy, can you tell the difference here between homemade. A lot of folks, order salmon and they think everything is homemade, and there's total different taste. Total different taste.
Yeah, and it's cured with washed with poppy seeds and then fresh dill, and cured for about 5 days and smoked for about 45 minutes with applewood and fingerling potatoes sauteed with juniper berry vinaigrette and a vodka sour cream on top of it, creme fraiche.
Wow. And shaped into a beautiful rosette.
Yeah.
Really, really lovely. Now, this was on the menu for the brunch, but is it also on the menu?
It's also for lunch and dinner.
Wonderful.
For an appetizer.
I would heartily suggest, if you like salmon, to try this dish. And of course, fingerling, that's another thing as part of the return to the market, we're getting the exposure to potatoes. In the old days, you had russet in Idaho, and that was it.
Yeah.
Now we've got fingerling, we've got purple, and fingerling have got to be one of my favorite potatoes in dishes. I just think they really
it's like tomatoes, like, heirloom tomato.
Right.
It's heirloom potato, too. And it's like, I know about 45 different kind of potato available right now.
Really?
Yeah, from Oregon.
45.
There's a lady in called Russian Ranch out of Oregon. She has about 50 kind of potatoes.
Yeah, Oregon has really gotten to be a tremendous grower. I mean, I know they've adopted so many of the Japanese specialties.
Sure.
Where, whether it's wasabi, growing their own, the Wagyu beef, doing so many, because they have a large, of course, Asian population and also serving the whole West Coast. But they have really become the center of a lot of food production.
Like all the food that's going to America, we can find everything in this country now. And then, like, talk about ingredient, like now ginger is grown in Wisconsin.
Right, Wisconsin.
They grow more ginger in Wisconsin than any other state. Say Wisconsin?
Wisconsin? No, I told somebody, they said, no, you must be mistaken. Maybe Portland. I said, no. Wisconsin, the middle of the country is growing.
Wasabi, ginger and all that.
Okay, let's move on. I don't know if we got another app or we're moving back to salads. Let's see where we are. Soups. Well, even better. Now this, for those growing up in New Orleans or in other countries, but especially in New Orleans, French onion soup, and the onion soup was such a tradition because we had a lot more French restaurants too in those days. But this was certainly one of this, and turtle soup were like the mainstays. I mean, you always had a choice of one of those two on a menu. And here, absolutely superb with that wonderful crusting. Tell us about it, please.
Oh, this is, again, we make that caramelized onion, and I make it a bit different than a lot of people. I make caramelized onion, leeks, a green part and a white part, and fresh garlic.
So you put both green and white?
Green and white.
Wow, okay,
and,
great.
Fresh garlic, fresh thyme. I say fresh, it's always fresh. Veal stock, chicken stock, and that's what a lot of people like. A lot of beer and a lot of white wine in there, and then simmer for about 2 hours. After that, we top it with the brioche crust, brioche piece of bread, and we do Gruyere cheese on top, and we make a custard with cream, egg yolk, and more Gruyere on it on top. It does give this color, like kind of souffle kind of look.
Yeah, and in fact, that's what I wanted to bring out, and I appreciate you doing it because, soups, more and more restaurants are putting, the soup back on the menu, but all they're doing is taking, many times not even melting it, but just putting a piece of cheese on some type of bread and floating it in.
They put a crouton on top.
Yeah, or a crouton, even the most insulting thing, But the brioche being such a wonderful French loaf, and then having the fluffiness, like I say, almost like a souffle, and that explains it doing a custard, really making a total difference than just putting a piece of cheese on a piece of bread.
Like to me, onion soup and a nice green salad is a perfect lunch.
Perfect lunch. Perfect lunch. All right, now, in addition to onion soup, he has my favorite, which is not shown in too many restaurants at all, and I think it's because people are concerned that, that's going to be offensive to the diner, or, they're not going to eat it because they're going to be afraid how they smell after they leave. But to me, other than French onion soup, our garlic soup is just superb. And let's take a look and see this and tell us how you do yours. I apologize for the photo. It's a little dark, but absolutely delicious. Let's talk about it, please.
It's a garlic soup from my father's hometown, actually. I do it a bit different, my version. But
and where's that for those?
Arles in the north of France. North of France, near Belgium. And it's roasted and smoked garlic.
Right.
And chicken stock. And the texture of the soup is actually white bread. like a baguette.
Yes.
And a touch of cream and chicken stock, and serve with the poached eggs and the truffle over oil on top. It's very, very satisfying, and it's like that's my father's soup. So
it's absolutely winning. And I think the poached eggs, folks, people aren't familiar with doing eggs and and things like soups and poaching and all, but absolutely superb. It adds such a different level to the taste and the look, of course, but also the taste.
And then you break the eggs and they mixed up with the soup and you finish cooking, so it's perfect.
Exactly, yes. So they said, well, is it a hard-boiled? Is it a hard-boiled egg? I said, no, absolutely not. It's poached. Well, what does that mean? I said, but don't worry, it's cooking. When you open it up, it's cooking it, and then the yolk is mixing with the flavor of the soup. Absolutely divine.
It's like a pasta carbonara with an egg on top of it. You mix that with a pasta and you mix it up and it's cooking. It's good. It's a lot of flavor to it.
Tremendous flavor. Tremendous flavor. So either one of these, you can't go wrong. Now let's move on a little bit more, and I think do we have any more salads or appetizers before we go into the entrees? Let's see if we can move forward. There we go. Now, again, I apologize. This is a little dark. I think we've got another picture to be a little better. Let's talk about this one, sir. And notice what it's served in, folks. Nothing like that's all I knew about being a little Cajun. Had nothing but cast iron skillets. So what we got?
I love cast iron.
Can't beat it. So tell us what we've got in that beautiful skillet.
That's a tarte flambée. It's the traditional Alsatian tart with a homemade fromage blanc, which is a white cheese. Consistency of a sour cream kind of. We put a touch of nutmeg in there. Raw onion, sliced raw onion, house bacon on top, toasted house bacon, and put in the oven for a couple of minutes, and a green salad on top. So we cut that in 6-8 pieces. That's a great appetizer to share.
Absolutely. This is, yes. Coming out super hot. The only thing you got to watch, typical with this, is watch you don't burn yourself.
And soon we say don't touch, everybody touch it.
Exactly. And I tell you what, sure enough, exactly. They all issued the warning. The first thing they did was started to grab the handle, and I kind of pulled it away, but she got a little burn on it.
That's it.
So, but it makes a wonderful present. And as you say, what better way for more than this is way too much for one person. So it's a great sharing appetizer.
People, yeah.
Okay, let's move on and see what else we have before we start taking a look at a few of the entrees, then before we get out of time here, before our musician returns. Let's see if we can move a little further. Okay, now this was really not on the menu per se. Chef was nice enough when we reconnected to send us out a little compliment and show his wonderful butchering skills, as he talked a little earlier about using all the parts of the animal and making some great, great sausages. And there's nothing better if you're a Louisianan, especially a native or a Cajun, than to identify what a good sauce or a good line of sausages. So tell us about this particular one, please.
That's homemade. It's actually on the menu at night and lunch also. And it's a homemade blood sausage, traditional French blood sausage, boudin noir.
Boudin noir.
Yeah, boudin noir or boudin blanc. Boudin blanc is with chicken or veal.
With chicken, right.
This one is just simple. I mean, there's a lot of work to it. And it's served with a wild mushroom and a white wine bordelais sauce, a French bordelais sauce, red wine stock,
Yeah.
Red wine and beef stock. It's very good. We sell a lot. People love it. And, that's one of the things after Katrina that changes. You start to see influence like tongue because the new Mexican restaurant and all that. So people are eating tongue again, and that used to be on the menu before. Mexican, the Hispanic community.
Or even Italian.
Yeah, Italian.
When I grew up, Italians had it with red sauce all the time, whole tongue roast, So, but this was great because of the addition of the mushrooms. And some people are afraid when they hear, of course, boudin noir, that this is going to be full of blood or something, tasting like that. Absolutely not, folks. I mean, I know you hear those rumors or hear those things, and even if that's part of the deal, there's not going to be any such flavor. You're talking about a delicious sausage, and what better accompaniment than mushrooms? I mean, sausage and mushroom just go hand in hand together. So, again, you're saying, so this is actually on the menu?
It's on the menu now. It's on the menu.
Excellent. Well, if you're a sausage fan and a mushroom fan, these are two you need to put together, and you probably will. You could eat this whole one by yourself if no one else at the table is adventurous enough. Let's put it this way to try the sausage. All right, I think we have a few more. Let's see what we've got up. Okay, we're actually now starting to move into the entrees, I believe, huh?
Yep.
What are we looking at here, sir?
That's a special on Friday. Every day we have a dish of the day. That's a dish we have on Friday is roasted Maine lobster.
Okay.
We poach the lobster first. We put it back in the shell. And we serve with a tomato cognac sauce and a bit Parmesan cheese baked in the oven and serve with homemade basil pasta. and roasted tomatoes. That's one of the most popular dishes of the day, plat du jour. Every day is different dish. So.
The first time we went, that evening we went, the next day we were leaving, we go on, Katrina kind of soured us a lot, myself and a friend of mine, so what we did is kind of retaliated. We decided to start doing Katrina vacations. So every year now we pick a new Caribbean island and we go for the entire week so that Katrina is celebrated one day in one of these beautiful crystal clear water, and we thank the Lord above that, we're there. So, and we usually, this one we went to Jamaica where, I had lobster every day and I knew I was going to have it. So I avoided this and I wanted it so badly because your GM or someone told me you had it, but fortunately the lady diner with us had it and I got a chance to look. It was just magnificent. But I'm coming back to try it because that is my favorite. But I didn't want to OD on lobster. Yeah. I knew I was going to have it for 8 days after that.
I do love the lobster in the Caribbean. The spiny lobster in the Caribbean is incredible.
Incredible, is right. Okay, let's see if we can see a few more because I see the time is clicking. Folks, our other diner with us loves red snapper, and I believe this was it a red fish?
I said red snapper.
Snapper.
We always have a whole fish as part of our menu, and sometimes we have two. And with stir-fry vegetable, like a kind of Vietnamese touch, a ponzu sauce.
Ponzu sauce on the side.
We can bake it or fry it. People say whatever they want.
But people don't know what ponzu is. Basically a soy and a citrus. Yuzu is like mainly a lime, but a lemon kind of citrus sauce. So very, very light, very tangy, a wonderful accompaniment to it.
A little bit cilantro in there, so there's a lot of flavor to it. Just sometimes I like to play with the flavor too because not just traditional French. Bistro doesn't have to be just traditional, it's just French. Could be playing with things a little bit.
And again, the diner couldn't stop raving because he loves red snapper and red fish, but red snapper specifically, and he just could not get over how tasty this is. Now, he didn't use the ponzu sauce, as you can see, but ate through that fish like crazy.
Like today we have flounder. We just got flounder this morning.
That's one of my favorites. I had some at lunch with sushi, so I'll forgive you. All right, now the next one is the one I had, and if I remember correctly, and this we really have to apologize because once again it's served in the wonderful cast iron skillet, but the darkness of the photos really, and I hesitated to bring it on, but to me, it's one of the favorite dishes that I know Chef BAJEAUX by doing cassoulets and these type of wonderful dishes. Tell us what we're looking at and give us a better description since the
those kind of dishes never look good on picture. But,
no, right.
It's very, very good, almost like a kind of a bouillabaisse type.
Exactly.
With it's Basque seafood ragu is from the Basque country.
The Basque, B-A-S-Q-U-E, right.
The southwest part of France. And it's white beans, cannoli beans.
You can see a little bit of those peeking out at the top, but it's very hard to discern.
Clams, mussels, scallops, shrimp, and homemade chorizo in there. So
if you like bouillabaisse, it's more like a stew, a little heavier than a bouillabaisse, I would say.
A little bit richer.
And certainly richer, right. So if you like that, then you're going to love it. And that's what I did. But again, unfortunately, the pictures, again, they had turned the lighting down at that time of the evening, get everyone a little more comfortable. So, and even with the flash, it just didn't do justice to this dish. So please do not take it on this look, but what Chef has just told you about, what's included. And if you like a bouillabaisse, especially with a little more heart and a little more soul, and I think you'll really enjoy it. Okay, I think we're running out of time for the entrees, and our musician wants to come back on. So what we're going to do is take a break. We're with Chef Rene BAJEAUX. So excited about his new restaurant, folks. You got to go try it. And what we'll do is we'll listen to a song. We'll come back, talk a little bit more to him about beverages and desserts and anything else he wants to tell us about his fine new establishments. So let's go back to BURKE INGRAFFIA.
Years back, this is called Four Leaf Clover. The Steelers stole the stars from the Ohio Valley skies. You see it flicker through the factory dust, then it dies. But I can still make a wish, I might find a way to run off with you to a corner of the night. We'll take my magic carpet, bucket seats, it's built for two. And and see the world so beautiful as if to mirror you. Shoes and eyes and blue jeans, you and me, all perfect pairs. Two old friends on the front porch, rocking in their rocking chairs. And I won't be throwing shadows at the sun. Here's to good luck, here's tomorrow, till tomorrow has begun. If I could give to you a rainbow, well, I'd be the lucky one. I wish I could tell the future, but the prophet is a fool. He shunned and scorned and begins to believe their ridicule. But he sees a cool, bright morning and begins to write a song about something he can't believe is so delicate and so strong. Hello, four-leaf clover, I was thinking about you today. A queen and a 919, I think you should stay. It's been about a month now and you know I'm still the same. Now you're in the Badlands and they have to change the name. And I won't be throwing shadows at the sun. Here's to good luck, here's tomorrow, till tomorrow has begun. If I could give to you a rainbow, well, I'd be the lucky one. The Steelers stole the stars from the Ohio Valley skies. That's okay, I still know a way to dream when I close my eyes. I finally figured out the way you do that thing you do. I heard the word from a ladybug that four-leaf clovers look for you. And I won't be throwing shadows at the sun. Here's to good luck, here's tomorrow, till tomorrow has begun. If I could give to you a rainbow, well, I'd be the lucky one. Yeah, I'd be the lucky one.
Okay, that was BURKE and Ingraffia. Very nice little melody. He's come back one more time at the end of the show. We're pleased today to bring you one of our New Orleans' finest and famous chefs, Chef Rene BAJEAUX, of his new Rene Bistro, which is in the Renaissance Arts Hotel at 700 block of TCHOUPITOULAS. Now, as we said, we've gone through some of the entrees, not nearly all of them, that are served at lunch and dinner. But on Sundays, since he's there for breakfast, they do a traditional Sunday brunch. And which that runs from, I think, 11 to 2, is that what?
11:30 to 2.
11:30 to 2. And it comes, of course, the menu is more geared to, it's somewhere still between breakfast and lunch. So we wanted to go and give you a little flavor of that. So we do have 2 of those entrees that we want to take a look at and explain, and then before we get to desserts and beverages. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first one. I'm not sure if it's let's see if we can bring that picture up. This was mine, absolutely delicious. Notice it has an egg on it, so it's brunch, it's breakfast, but it's also lunch. Tell us what we're looking at here, Chef, please.
That's a beautiful prime veal from Wisconsin, breaded. It's called Holstein, which is traditional, like a Wiener Schnitzel type. And so with the green beans, haricot vert, and the lemon pepper sauce, and the farm eggs on top. Simple, but good, it's rich. And we have that on lunch menu also. So it's great.
I think you had a little potato croquette in it.
Yeah, potato croquette, and the Gruyere croquette under it.
Underneath it, yeah. Yes. Absolutely delicious. So there you got a blend of both breakfast and or lunch. The veal, absolutely one of the most tender veals you've ever tasted. beautifully done. An egg, which again, if you don't like it together, then put it off and eat it on the side. But it's absolutely delicious. And lemon caper sauce, you can never beat that for anything. And any fish or anything, lemon capers are going to really just not overdo, just really add a wonderful taste. Now, if you want to go a little bit, once again, another way, well, everybody has chicken, and Chef has done a wonderful chicken with grits. And so let's take a look at that, and then we'll explain that as well on the entree. Can we move forward? There we go. Look how pretty that is. Tell us about the chicken and grits.
Beautiful chicken breast with organic Louisiana
And what
grits.
are we doing on the chicken? How are we preparing that?
Marinated with olive oil and fresh herbs and garlic. I put garlic in everything.
Garlic, everything. Has to be, yes.
And the grits are local, from local organic company. And it's just, that grits is just the best grits. After you eat that grits, you're never going to eat any other one.
Absolutely delicious.
They cook for about an hour and a half.
Wow.
Contrary to the instant grits that you cook after 3 seconds. And it tastes like wallpaper paste. This is nutty. This is rich by itself. The grits are a dish. Until you have tried those grits, you never have tried grits.
They're delicious. You will love them. Now, with the brunch, there is a complimentary, I know, a cocktail, I think, like a mimosa.
More than that, it's free flow French sparkling mimosa or plain,
right.
and included with just 3-course brunch.
Right, that's what I wanted to explain. It. It's not just what you're seeing, that's the main course, but you also get an appetizer choice.
And dessert.
And a dessert, so my goodness, and including the cocktail. So what better way? Now, it's not, that loud and raucous, no disrespect to our native jazz bands, but I like a little quiet, especially in the morning, on Sunday morning. I'm not really ready for that. So you need to go somewhere else if you got to have that jazz band. But food-wise, you're not going to find anything better, and setting-wise, it's perfect. Remember, you got that complimentary valet parking, so after church or whatever, you don't have to go around looking for places, especially if you go down to Jesuit or something, you're only blocks away from the restaurant. But you can move your car and let them valet park it for you. Have a great, great brunch. We had a lovely crowd on Sunday, and I really encourage, even though that Chef's day off, don't be asking for Chef. Where's Chef? Where's Chef? He's got a wonderful, as he said, sous chef who's doing an excellent job of the brunches. So give him a try there, but also give him a try during the week, because you want to try some of these magnificent entrees that we've shown you already that really are truly representative of his hard work and his native cuisine. Now, beverages. It's a bar. We talked about the bar a little bit. Of course, it's a bar serving the restaurant. It's a bar among its own self. Again, it's a great bar where people really meet together to sit and talk and drink, whether it's after work, certainly from the hotel guests, and as we mentioned, how many drinks. So they can do anything you want. But the important thing, of course, here is not only the cocktails, but wines. I know Chef's got to have a wonderful selection of wines, especially, I'm sure, French wines are going to be superb for him. Is that right?
We're from all over. I mean, we're from Argentina, from France,
Excellent.
from California. So many incredible wine. It's hard to make choices because there's so many wine available, and I think the value of wine is even better now than ever.
I totally concur with you. So that's what's so good. In the old days, you only had the European choice. It was European versus California. It was fighting back and forth. Yeah. Today, the wonderful, being a global economy, the access to all these magnificent types of Malbecs from Australia and stuff like that, really are tremendous selection. Okay, now desserts. We only had room for one dessert the night we had it. We split it. It was one of the basics. We're going to take a look at it, but then if we have a few more moments, Chef will tell us about a couple of others. Not that there was anything wrong with this, but you're going to, I know, want to see things with a little more creativity and also things that are native to New Orleans. This particular one was a wonderful pound cake, not an ordinary pound cake, with some fantastic homemade ice cream. Let's talk about what type of pound cake are we looking at, sir?
That's a sweet potato pancake. It's very nice and moist, a little bit different. Pastry chef
gives a little more sweetness to it, as opposed to sometimes a pound cake can dry or be very bland, more like bread than cake.
This one is moist. It's very moist.
Very moist.
Ali, a pastry person, she does a great job with it, and she should be coming up with a new menu next week. But she does like all kind of thing using fresh ingredient and homemade ice cream. So we're doing good with that.
And what type of ice cream you said we have here?
That's a pecan ice cream.
Pecan.
Yeah, pecan.
But I know your chefs, your waiter told us that you do different types of ice cream.
We change all the time. Like we could be making pistachio ice cream.
That's my favorite. I was hoping that I was really going to try it that night because that's my favorite. So definitely we have that. This is standardly on the menu. Is that right?
For now, yes.
Yeah. Oh, for now. Okay. He is changing.
We keep on changing the menu. So.
I understand. Well, let's talk about a couple of. We don't have pictures of other desserts, but let's talk about a couple of other desserts that you do have. So give people who want to go through that sweet route some other opportunities. What else do we have?
We have a great chocolate terrine with again pistachio, and then we also have a peach cobbler with a traditional thing in a cast iron dish.
In the cast iron dish. Cool.
A small portion. We don't make too big because it's pretty rich.
Right.
And homemade ice cream again on top of it. And we stay basic with that. We keep on changing. We have an incredible cheese tray also. We have all our cheese is from St. James.
St. James, wonderful. We're so fortunate. That's one of the, and I think that was, I can't remember whether he was post Katrina or not. He was close to Katrina when he opened up on Britannia.
After Katrina I opened, I think.
Yeah, but we were really blessed with that because he is just a great purveyor of cheeses. I mean, the selections that he puts out.
And he does great. And they do great sandwich there, too.
Magnificent.
Yeah, so
it's just too crowded.
Yeah.
The place is too small.
Go sit on the sidewalk.
But especially at a workday lunch or a weekend lunch, but several of the restaurants are using his cheeses, and nowadays, once again, we've returned to cheese as not only as an appetizer, but more importantly, as a dessert. It's a wonderful dessert, absolutely fabulous. And before Katrina, I don't think, after Katrina, very few restaurants had cheeses at all.
Like when I work in Windsor, we always had a cheese cart. I think it was the only one in the city.
Only one in the city.
It was always part of the prefix, part of your tasting menu.
Right.
And that's what we sold a lot. But now we have people are demanding cheese again.
Yes.
And it's some incredible between French, Italian cheese, but we also have some incredible artisanal American cheese from all over.
Right.
They're really, really good. I mean, from California to Oregon to Wisconsin, really really good cheese made in America.
Yeah, and I heard that we even have a cheese manufacturer here in the North Shore. I was told, I don't know if it's true or not, I had gone prior to Katrina, these folks had done a...
St. John cheese.
Is it St. John? They had done a vineyard, a winery as well. And there's another one that does the oaks and stuff, but this is not. I forgot how far over it was. And they had a small winery, which was really nothing to look at, but and only did their wines, of course. But I heard that they either converted or added the cheese menu, and I heard that some of their cheese, and I haven't been able to get the name, so maybe it's St. John?
I forget them. No, they used to make a cheese. The cheese used to be named after the parishes.
After the parish that we
I can't remember the name.
I got
It's so expensive to make cheese.
Of course. That's why I was shocked. I said, well, gee whiz, they went from wine, which is hard enough for here, but to move to cheese. But if I ever find it, I'm going to take a ride over there and buy it.
If I can find out, I remember. I don't think they're still in business, but I used to buy a lot. Actually, in Windsor Court, we used to buy a lot from them.
Wonderful. Well, like I say, the importance of it is that cheese has returned to the menu, whereas we missed it for a long time. Yeah, a long time. Not only here, though, around the nation, it kind of disappeared. Okay, anything else you want to tell us? We're just about ready to say goodbye, and let's listen to our thing. We've been listening to, once again, Chef and watching Chef Rene BAJEAUX of Rene Bistro, 700 block of Tchoupitoulas, open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week. On Sundays, instead of a breakfast, does a wonderful brunch, 3-course brunch, including some complimentary cocktails, dessert, and appetizer and entree. And we've showed you some. It's got wonderful chefs, a great oyster bar where you can dine alone or with someone else, get the fresh oysters and or the seafood. Anything else that we've missed that you want to tell the folks before we close?
Come to visit us. We are there. We're ready for you. We're excited, and I think there's more things to come, and I'm very excited to be back really at the city. And I'm not going anywhere. This is it.
That's what we're glad to hear, because we don't want to lose him again. We certainly don't. And the important thing is he is out there. Years ago, we started this show with the motto that we wanted to have the chef here live, because the chef will be. In those days, it might not have been the chef was the restaurant. Today, and many of the chefs were hidden away in the closet of the kitchen. Today, the chef is either and or the owner, but certainly is the persona of the food that you're getting. And he's out there circulating, renewing acquaintances from many, many days before, plus looking for new folks. So don't worry, he's not going to be hidden away. Even in that big open kitchen, he's going to go circulate around and tell you hello and answer any questions for you. Wonderful, hospitable staff. We're having our dining club tonight, and it's our 3rd anniversary, so everyone's all excited to join him. And once again, we're going to go ahead and take a listen and look to the musician, BURKE and INGRAFFIA, and then we'll look for you in the New Orleans restaurants. They keep opening up, folks. Take care.
And even I sometimes feel that way. I don't put my trust in the visible light traveling at night. The thieves and the scoundrels come out of the wood. Just don't let them guess that you're good. Don't let them guess that you're good. I'll take the moon and her reflecting ways over the sun that wrinkles my face. I won't be slowed down by the speed of light traveling at night. The lunatics and lovers, they act like they should. Oh, if we could be, we certainly would. Oh, we certainly would. The sky gets blue on a sunny day, and even I sometimes feel that way. I won't put my trust in the visible light traveling at night. The thieves and the scoundrels come out of the wood. Just don't let them guess that you're good. Don't let them guess that you're good. The sky gets blue on a sunny day, and even I sometimes feel that way. I don't put my trust in the visible light traveling at night. Traveling at night. Traveling at night.
My name is Mina Cray. I have been in New Orleans since 1950.